Hi, and welcome back to Success Today. I'm your host, Greg Roulette, and right now I am joined by Paul Cheng, the founding and managing partner at the law offices of Paul Cheng. Welcome to Success Today.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'm excited to talk to you because you do some really interesting things helping businesses to work overseas and create some really great companies. And let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you do and some of the businesses that you help.
Well, I can be able to say that I'm one of 195,000 attorneys in California. We have more attorneys in California than we have politicians, firemen, and police officers all combined together.
Wow.
And it was really funny because about a month and a half ago, we had a group of Shanghai judges come to the United States, and they said to us, Paul, how many attorneys do you have? Just in California, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I checked, 195,000, another 20,000 that were just added over the last quarter. So as of right now, over 200,000 attorneys. So I guess ultimately the question is, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm sure if I get in a car accident down on the freeway over there, there's an attorney I can call.
Absolutely,
Right?
and they're going to make the bar even easier for California.
Wow.
So in 2017, they said it was too difficult. Only 50% of attorneys were passing. So in China, all of China, 130,000 attorneys in a whole country.
Wow.
So we have more attorneys in one state than we have in an entire country. And so, again, what ends up happening when you need to look for an attorney?
Then what do you do in California to be the one that they hire over 190,000 attorneys, right?
Well, before I became an attorney, I come from a home of all doctors.
Okay.
And frankly, they were tired of hiring attorneys. They said, you know what, we're not interested anymore. This is way too difficult. So I kind of fell into it because my family said to me, we can't handle it anymore. We're just not going to hire any more attorneys. This is getting ridiculous. So that's how I fell into it.
So fell into to kind of get into the family business.
Yes.
Right? And now you're helping business owners do some really incredible things. So talk about some of the actual services that you provide to your clients.
Well, I started off doing real estate. I started off 10 years ago doing real estate for transactions, particularly in Southern California. If it was either shopping centers, big box retailers that were coming into Southern California. But eventually what ended up happening is I started doing a lot more compliance issues of businesses that wanted to go overseas or businesses overseas that wanted to come to the United States. And that's where I think we've really niched ourselves into 4 areas. We do real estate, business, intellectual property, particularly intellectual property across the world, and labor compliance. So in Southern California, we have 1.2 million lawsuits a year. Half of them are related to employment. So there's a lot of employment compliance issues in California in general.
I love it. Well, I want to talk about some of the big opportunities, both for companies in the United States to look at foreign markets and for also foreign markets looking at the United States. I mean, what are some of the opportunities that the clients come and why is this a good time to get into that type of business?
Well, the economy here in the United States, as much as there's a lot of invigorating talk, a lot of excitement, a lot of statements that our best days are yet to come.
Yeah.
The reality is that the United States now is competing with overseas markets, and it's really petering between 1 to 5. So on a scale of 1 to 5, in terms of the top 5, that's where the United States is going. And because of that, what we need to do is we need to look at foreign markets to be able to sell our quality products, because we live in the best country in the world, to sell our quality products overseas and to be able to hire quality individuals here as well as overseas and do it in the right manner. And so that's where I think the opportunity is for not just people in Southern California, but across the United States. If your business is petering, if it's going down, if you don't know where the future is going to lie, you can be able to maintain jobs here in the United States by looking at foreign markets, because for almost 100 years, foreign markets were looking at the United States and saying, if we ship our goods and services here to the United States, that's how we maintain our economies.
So let's talk about some of the challenges that they might face and some of the compliance and some of the regulations that they're not thinking about, because they're just like, hey, I just sell my goods and services here. What are they not thinking about from a legal standpoint when they're looking to expand into foreign markets?
The difficulty about expanding into a foreign market is obviously you don't understand the legalities. And the reality is China, as well as other foreign markets, the legal system is not as developed. So we live in the greatest legal system in the world. It's complicated, but at the same time, it keeps the markets in check. Over in Asia, that doesn't happen. But what is happening is that the foreign markets are traditionally and have been improving on arbitration systems. So in the United States, we have a great litigation system, but our mediation arbitration is very weak.
Okay.
And so an arbitration system takes a case out of, essentially a lawsuit out of the court system and places it into a private venue.
Okay.
Well, over in China, over in Malaysia, Singapore, anywhere you go, they have a very developed arbitration system. So if you're able to jump into the foreign market and use their arbitration system, you can almost use it as if you were in the court system here in the United States.
Wow.
And of course, contract law is very important. If you're able to execute contracts, whether it's in foreign language or English, try to get it back here so you can be able to control. You essentially want to be on home court when there's a dispute.
Yeah, I love being on home court. Home court advantage, right?
Yeah,
That's why
absolutely.
everything in sports, same thing is true in business. Now, at what stage did someone look to bring you on, right? Is it when they're preparing to enter that foreign market? Or are they already there and they're in trouble and they're like, oh no, man, we need some help? At what stage should they look to interact with you and develop those relationships?
Well, every attorney is going to say the earlier the better.
Of course.
Right? But
Yeah.
the reality is many people come to us in terms of a dispute. Now, I think I have 3 ways in which anybody, whether they want to go to us or not, is going to be able to find their best attorney. May I share that with
I'd
you?
love to hear these 3
All right.
ways. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go.
So the first way is you take 3 pieces of paper and you send it to the attorney that you're going to visit. On the 3 pieces of paper, you're going to write what happened on one page. On the second page, you're going to write what you want.
Okay.
And on the third page, you're going to write what the other side's going to say.
Okay.
An attorney, when he meets you, has about 90 seconds to 5 minutes of essential attention span. After that, they lose it. That's the reality.
Okay.
And so if you aren't able to articulate on these 3 pieces of paper, then you aren't going to be able to communicate to the attorney. But before you meet the attorney, you're going to send it to him.
Okay. Very
powerful.
powerful.
The attorney is going to do one of 3 things. He's going to throw it in the trash. That's great, because you didn't want to hire that attorney anyway.
Right.
The second thing is that the attorney is going to look at it and say, international trade dispute, international arbitration, or wage and hour complaint. I don't do this.
Yeah.
Refer it to somebody, because attorneys, when they refer, make more business.
Right.
That's a good thing, because you're looking for a specialist.
Right.
And the third thing the attorney may do is research the issue, so when he or she meets you, he's going to be better at what he does, which is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Legal advice that's specialized, educated, and focused. Because you have to remember, 195,000 attorneys in California,
Yeah.
they're hunting every day. They don't have enough cases. So the 5 minutes that they have with you, their mind's already going to the next thing. And so that's the difficulty about hiring good counsel, is there just aren't that many cases. They're constantly hunting.
Yeah, I love that. And so what were the 3 things on the piece of paper? One more time for everybody watching at home.
The first thing is write down what happened. If you aren't able to articulate on one piece of paper,
It's going to be very difficult moving forward.
attorneys are humans too.
Yeah.
The second thing is that you're going to write down what you want. Many people, they don't know what they want. They always go to the attorney and say, you tell me what I want. That's bad.
Yeah.
And the third issue is write down what the other side is going to say. And if you're able to do that, then things are going to be better when you meet your attorney and your counsel, because what you're looking for is specialized advice.
Right.
Now, there's one other thing that I think clients don't realize when they hire attorneys. Attorneys lose documentation all the time.
Wow, that's shocking,
Yeah,
right?
it's shocking in the sense that an attorney would say this, but everybody knows this. So in a basic personal injury case, there's about 10,000 pieces of paper.
Wow.
So if you ask anybody for 10,000 pieces of paper and tell them to keep it and track it, they know they can. So it's about this high.
Yeah.
And this is a very average case. So for us, we have 15 boxes. So what is a client going to do? They got to scan every piece of paper. And then when they give it over to their attorney, they need to tell the attorney that they have the paper available and that if they need it, please come and get it from me.
Yeah.
Then they have to actually bait stamp it. Bait stamp every single piece of paper, because the worst thing a client can do is, I gave that document over to you 2 days ago.
Right.
What document are you referring to?
Right.
And if you create a tabulated list and you tell the attorney why it's important to you, then when you speak to the attorney, it's going to be much easier to work and interact with that attorney, and therefore be able to win your case.
Yeah, such a great piece of advice. And if someone is listening right now, they're watching the show this morning, and they want to learn more about how you can actually help them, how you can help them to break and expand into those markets, or help them in a crisis situation, what's the best way for them to learn more and get engaged with your firm?
Well, you can be able to look me up on the internet. My name is Paul Cheng. You can go to our website. It's www.pprclaw.com. It's pprclaw.com.
Great.
and hope that everybody works out. Hopefully, actually, you don't have to come to me in terms of a dispute.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're expanding your business into foreign markets.
Yeah, I love that. And it's such great advice for everyone. I encourage you to go learn more about his firm and how they can help you break into those international markets. Thanks so much for joining us here this morning. And we'll be right back in just a minute with more Success Today.